my camera's going to die. And that's logistics. I didn't charge it properly before I started this shoot, so I have to say this really quickly before it dies. I also probably should explain to you what I mean when I say logistics, because I feel like I have like a idiosyncratic definition of it now because I've said the word so many times. But basically, my camera about to die, that's a logistical failing. I didn't make sure that my camera was charged. I just did a live show with CJ the X, and it was called We Will Kill You. It was a great live show. But part of booking a live show is finding a venue. That's logistics. The venue finding. No one imagines that when they imagine making art, when they imagine doing a live show. They imagine the work that they're going to put into the live show, and then they imagine the people who are going to experience their art, right? That's beautiful. That's so clean in their mind. However, the email to the venue, that sucks. I hate logistics. I hate logistics. It's really been the bane of my existence for as long as I can remember. Filling out a form to get a grant application, get the money to produce the art is not why you got into art, is it? Huh? But it's an essential part of it. There is a woman whose whole job is just cleaning the venue that she's at. It's performance art. And it's very cool. It's like taking that thing that is a part of art, maintenance and making sure that your space is clean so that you can be creative out of that space, and putting that into the forefront of the art. I assume that's what she does. I didn't actually watch it because, truthfully, it does sound boring. But I think big picture, it's a good idea. So, logistics. A lot of YouTubers, a lot of my peers, they have this inch of logistics separating them from doing cool things. A lot of people want to do live shows. They can get way more people than I could bring to a venue, but they're just not doing it, even though they want to do it, because they're just expecting someone to come up to them and be like, hey, I'm going to book a venue for you. I'm going to take care of everything. That's what I always imagined. I wanted kind of to be babied a little bit, because I want to just min-max. I want to be a really good artist, and then someone else can take care of the stupid little details for me. And every time I've tried to get someone to take care of the stupid little details for me, I've realized I should have just done it myself. And I'm glad that I learned how to book a venue myself, because in going through the process, this was a year ago, I booked my first venue. It was difficult. I was like, I can bring 50 to 100 people. I thought I was in a good spot. Email after email after email, trying to find the right venue. First of all, there was a huge amount of resistance towards even finding the venues and sending those emails. And then sending the emails, oh God, I hated doing that. And then none of them wanted me. Not a single one. Some of them were like a little interested, then they saw my channel and like, no. Fair enough, by the way. I mean, I wouldn't book me if I saw my channel. But that was hard. That was a rough spot. I had to keep trying and trying and trying. And eventually I did get the venue, but like, it was not fun. That was not what I wanted when I said I'm going to make a live show. I was imagining me dancing around on stage and my audience enjoying my content live. That's what I wanted. That's not what happens. That's just not the reality of being an artist. And I think this is important to know because it disillusions yourself from this idea that you are just going to make art. You're just going to make art. You're just going to make art and it's all going to be okay. The actual mechanics of making art, you will find that it's just absurd, frustrating nonsense like the rest of life. And it is a big part of art, the logistical elements of it, making sure that your camera is charged, making sure that your mic is in the right spot. I would have liked to film this video at my place in the morning, but my mic wasn't there. Why wasn't my mic there? I should just have it all set up. There was too much friction between me and filming to make it happen in a clean way, so it never happened, right? Like, logistics is the physicality of the tripod being set up in this way, and my mic being here and charged, and my SD card being in my camera. All of that stuff that you don't think about, that you don't want to think about, ends up becoming a part of the art. Now, sometimes the logistical failures can be a part of the art, as I'm attempting to do here with trying to finish this video before my camera dies. But most of the time, it can kill it. It can just kill it, stop it right dead in its tracks because there's too much friction or resistance between you and creating the thing you're trying to create, right? So logistics. I said it a few more times in case I didn't say it enough yet. It's not the kind of thing that you want to be thinking about, but it is an essential part of the creative process. I don't know if it is creativity. I don't know if doing laundry is creativity, but I mean, I did laundry today. I'm not very good at doing laundry. I know that's a funny thing to not be good at, but I was doing laundry out of this sort of structure, rigidity, routine, maintenance, right? Doing laundry. And I saw that the shirt had a bunch of pen all over it because I'm very messy. And I'm sometimes taking notes on my calls and I get ink on my shirt. And then I'm like, well, this is ruined. But instead of throwing it out, I just drew a bunch of me's all over it. And I was like, okay, this is actually something I would wear now because I like wearing weird clothing. So out of that order, out of that maintenance, something new emerged, something creative emerged. Something I do on my calls a lot is I tell them, hey, if you have like 30 poems and they're all in different notebooks, just get all of your poems together and start transcribing them into one note-taking app online on your computer. As an example, you could also transcribe it into just one separate notebook or whatever works for you. But like, let's say you want to put it online, digitize it. That's useful because you can start tagging it and searching through your notes. If you do that, you will find that creativity emerges from that logistical task of transcribing your notes. Isn't that interesting? Like, you might start just by deleting some of your old notes. Like, I was not cooking here. I'm not going to even transcribe this. But if you do start transcribing it, you might find you're remixing some of the words that you used. You might find that you're adding more words. And most importantly, you will have completely new ideas as you are transcribing the 30 notes, right? You will be like, oh, I wrote about this. You're reflecting on your artistic continuity and you're creating more stuff. So the creativity emerging from that stable structure that you've built for yourself, that's something that happens all the time. And it's why the logistical element of it is kind of intrinsically tied to the creative element of it. Even though they feel like opposites, and they are, but yin yang, yada yada. Extroverted intuition versus introverted sensing. I have brain worms. Anyway, so logistics. logistics. I'm getting audited. That sucks. I don't like being audited. I didn't keep enough receipts. But it's killing me. It's killing me. I hate it. I hate it so much. But I like to imagine, this is my cope to keep me going, is that I am getting better at logistics. The more I bang my head against this wall, I'm getting better at logistics. I'm getting better at being the kind of person that has logistical capabilities, that can book an Airbnb without having a panic attack. I am getting better at this. And like, trying to integrate that part of myself that's not good at logistics is exciting to me. And this is kind of my mentality with logistics, and it's maybe something that's helpful for you if I can articulate it. Imagining myself as someone who can be good at logistics, imagining myself as someone who is capable of booking venues or, organizing travel for like a tour in the future, if at any point I want to do that. That's exciting. It's fun to imagine myself as someone who can do those things. It's fun to imagine myself as someone who doesn't need a manager to take half my money to do those things for me. And I'm better at doing these things than a manager because I know myself better than a manager would know me. So I can like explain to the venue the pitch as well as I can make it. And so it sucks and it feels bad to fail at something you're bad at. Logistics. It sucks and it feels bad to have your camera die. It sucks and it feels bad to have your SD card run out of memory because you weren't conscientious enough to check that it had space. That all sucks and feels bad. That's why you don't want to do it. And that's why while doing it and failing at it, it's so frustrating and it makes you want to quit because that's not what you imagined art would be like. You just imagined art would be pure and clean and fun, but it's not. It's half of it or more is stupid, logistical, boring problems. Half of it is taxes. Seriously. Like you're like, I'm going to make a living as an artist. And then boom, half of it is taxes. So half of it is like setting up your Shopify account. Like it's not fun. None of that is fun. But imagining yourself as someone who can be good at those things right now for me is a useful framework to orient myself towards the future of like, okay, this sucks right now and I'm failing a lot. Like I'm taking L after L logistically. However, I would like to imagine that this is making me someone who can do logistics better. And in doing so, and this has already happened with the We're Gonna Kill You live show. Like I know how to go through the process of booking a venue now. With my first live show a year ago, I know how to go through the process of booking a venue now. So doing that has put me in a position where I can now reach out to any of my peers and be like, hey, I'm going to put on a live show. And they're like, wow, awesome. I didn't know how to do that. Or I had bigger plans than the venue that you chose, but now we are actually making something real. And making something real is important. That's like the whole point. you're compromising with reality. You're compromising with reality. And that's exciting because that becomes something that becomes a tool for me making more of my ideas real quicker. And that's my whole goal. And when I reframe it like that, it actually sounds like a pretty good idea to get good at logistics. Now, I'm still really bad, really bad at logistics. And I have so many problems that I would like to get better at. But I hope that I will get better at those things. And that this kind of moves me out of unconscious incompetence to conscious incompetence. Like, I know I'm bad at this thing now. And then hopefully soon I can move more into conscious competence, right? Which is where I am aware, I have to be conscious, and like I have to be really like put a lot of work into making sure my camera is charged, making sure that things are properly set up so I can film videos, so that I can edit videos, so that I can put videos out quickly. But you can't get there unless you're aware of it. So what I would say is, like, one, if you're bad at logistics, and I'm talking to myself, so you are bad at logistics, then be aware that you're bad at logistics. And then two, you have to not shirk away from your duty as a person in reality to fill out forms and to be at the self-checkout grocery aisle in line. Blah, blah, blah. Life is boring mostly and annoying. Life is mostly boring and annoying, and art is no different. Wow, what an awful message. But that's true. That's just objectively true. Yeah. Logistics. Logistics. Wow. Logistics. I mentioned my calls. I have 2 slots. 2 slots available now. 2 more slots. And here's 2 testimonials. Crazy. Maybe I'll open 3 slots. I don't know.